the U.S. State Department, all it does is it takes the bankers, the bankers' wishes. The bankers say, "This is what we want." They, the the Council on Foreign Relations, which is a Rothschild think tank, they take these pieces of these goals, they write policies, they give it to the bureaucracy, the U.S. State Department. The U.S. State Department then implements it as official U.S. policy. And then the little career diplomats, like the ones that we saw in the impeachment hearings, it is their job to go and make it happen. And so the impeachment hearings kind of showcased all these little bureaucrats who are part of this New World Order system, who were fighting. The reason they were so pissed off about Trump wasn't because of the whole Joe Biden thing. What it was that Donald Trump threatened, he co-opted this system. He co-opted the smooth business they had going on. And you can't do that. You can't go and take military funds that the bankers through the State Department are issuing to Ukraine. You cannot go and grab that and use it for yourself, which is what Trump did. It is not that Trump is fighting corruption. It is not that Trump is fighting the deep state. He is not fighting the globalists. He is trying to figure out, how can I use this to my own personal advantage? And by doing that, he mucked up the process, and they were fearful that he could do it again. If he did it this time, he could do it again. And so in that sense, yes, Donald Trump is that hand grenade that everyone thought he might be. You know, throw the hand grenade in and see what happens, blow some stuff up. The problem is that Donald Trump, it's not good. If you throw a hand grenade into a room where two different sides, where your side and the other side are fighting, what's going to happen? Yeah, you'll kill some of the bad guys, but you also kill some of your own people too. That is the danger of Donald Trump. Will he take down some of the deep state? Yes. Will he take on some of this globalist bullcrap? Yes. But at the same time, because he is an agent to himself and cares first and foremost about himself and Israel, that is going to result in destruction for the good guys too. That means the Constitution of the United States is going to be shredded. It is going to weaken the office of the presidency. It's going to strengthen it for corruption. And so Donald Trump being this this guy that they can't count on, it pissed him off. It pissed off that section of the New World Order that wants consistency, wants reliability. And Trump is not that. Trump is anything but stable. Look at Syria. Do we praise Trump because of his Syria policy? No. He has lied over and over and over and over and over again. He tells us good things. We need to get out of Syria, so I'm going to increase troops. We need to pull our troops out of Syria, so I'm going to send 1,000 more in. We need to stay out of the affairs of Syria, so I'm going to send some cruise missiles over and see how that works. Not once, but twice. Donald Trump is unpredictable, but that is not a good thing. That is not a good thing for either side. And that's the problem. Donald Trump just adds to the chaos of how it works. All the different factions fighting. Donald Trump is not trying to fight for the good guys. Donald Trump is just one more of the corrupt elements added to the mix. And because of that, he got himself impeached. He used some of this money for himself to advance his own personal whatever. CIA doesn't care about that. The bankers don't care about that. What they care about is that he messed with their money. He messed with their program. And so, lo and behold, Some anonymous CIA analyst ends up putting together this big report and collecting and collating and putting it together. And Donald Trump legitimately did do something that is wrong. He engaged in behavior that is impeachable. The other thing that he did that they will not tell you about in Congress, partly because they're dumb and they don't even understand most of this themselves, but the members of Congress, he was impeached tonight for obstruction of Congress as well, right? Well, this goes back to early on. Congress knew that a lot of Trump's people are doing some very corrupt things in Ukraine. Rudy Giuliani working with, Lev Parnas and these corrupt Ukrainian thugs, these mafia guys. I'll talk to you about Giuliani and his connections to all this. Giuliani is so corrupt. He is so filthy. I could go on and on and on about Giuliani. But besides him, you've got Energy Secretary Rick Perry and his dirty dealings that he's doing. All of these people associated with Trump. When all of this whistleblower stuff came out, Congress started issuing subpoenas, and the problem was that there really wasn't a whole lot in this material that they were asking for that would have been that damning to Trump related to the Ukraine phone call and all that. They were asking for a lot of stuff. Meetings between, what is Trump's Energy Secretary Rick Perry doing there? So they're starting to issue subpoenas, and what happened? Where did Rick Perry go? Where did Donald Trump's Secretary of Energy go? He resigned. What did he do wrong? I don't know. Do you know? I've got some suspicions, but we don't know because Donald Trump, seeing that all of these people around him, just like all of the people, remember Trump's political campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. Where's Manafort now? He's rotting in jail. Actually, right now he's in the hospital because he's having heart problems, so he's temporarily in the hospital. But his deputy campaign chairman, Rick Gates. Where is Rick Gates? He's sitting in jail right now. Donald Trump's people, Roger Stone, Donald Trump surrounds himself with these people that are criminals. They do criminal behaviors. And so Trump opposed all of the Russiagate. He obstructed justice. He said, I am not going to turn over anything. And he's doing that again with this because when they go after Rick Perry, when they go after Rudy Giuliani, when they go after some of this other stuff, it would have, if they had gotten it through these subpoenas, if Trump had complied, it would have opened up a whole world of corruption that is going on right now with the Trump insiders. Oh, you know what? I'm going to conclude with this. You know how all these things I'm saying now about Donald Trump, right? I know you don't like it. So, Trump supporters, blah, 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 blah. But I'm at least, if nothing else, I'm consistent. Let me bring up for you, and it's embarrassing how bad this some of my old videos were. But let me show you. Let me bring this up. I'm going to play about 2 or 3 minutes from this. I want you to see that the message I'm giving to you today about the people around Trump, I want you to have faith that what I'm saying is not just blowing smoke. Okay, I identify these things a long time before they come out in the media. We're talking here in 2019. How many of you have been talking about Hunter Biden's corruption for the last 5 or 6 years? It's only until it gets into the mainstream media narrative that most people find out about it, right? But let me show you what I was talking about back in, let's see, can you see the date on this? Let me see if I can. Let me switch screens here. All right, so do you see down here the date, May 14th, 2014? See that? All right, let me play this for you. Just a couple minutes. Don't make fun of me too bad.
This is doing. Do you see how these crooked politicians operate? They love to tell the world how hard they're working to help everyone else. Biden says it's all about protecting the good people of Ukraine and Latvia or wherever else. Just like the crooked Bush regime was fond of telling us all how the invasion of Iraq was all about helping the poor people of Iraq to rescue them from a terrible tyrant. Well, it was the same thing, the same line that we used recently against Gaddafi in Libya before we killed him. It's the same line we used against Chavez in Venezuela before the CIA killed him and tried to overthrow his government. Same thing with Mubarak in Egypt, where the CIA helped to overthrow the government. And now Bashar al-Assad in Syria, where we are working hard to overthrow the government there. The global elite want to create what's called a new world order, with themselves at the capstone, at the top of the pyramid. They use central banks to conquer nations with debt. But to get into the various nations, they need to first pull off covert operations to destabilize the countries. And then they need a military force to be able to come in and remove that existing government if the rabble-rousers don't successfully initiate the coup to remove the government. And so the bankers loan money to corporations in exchange for those corporations getting the politicians to follow the will of the bankers. Well, how do the corporations get politicians to vote this way or that way? Well, they control the politicians the same way that the bankers control them, with money. These mega corporations funnel PAC money to the campaigns of politicians in exchange for control of their votes. It's really that simple. And along the way, the politicians use these corporate connections to enrich themselves. Did you know that around 2/3 of the members of Congress are millionaires? Here in America, our citizen legislators, 2/3 of them are millionaires. But only a small number of them were millionaires before getting elected. They made their fortunes after they got elected. How do they do that? They don't get paid that much. Just look at how Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid and his son out there in Nevada are making a fortune off of solar panel projects. The corporate contracts that Reid has helped to create is one reason that he is so determined to control the lands that Nevada ranchers like Cliven Bundy have been using. That's why they want to chase them off the land, shut them down. You can't build a Chinese solar panel farm if cows are on the land, now can you? Well, speaking of stupid animals, let's get back to Joe Biden. What's in it for Joe? Why is he doing so much to take control of the oil and gas resources in Ukraine? Oh, did I mention that this month Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, was appointed head of legal affairs at Ukraine's largest gas company? Just a coincidence, right? And like his father, Hunter Biden's hubris is suffocating. He loves himself, loves to tell everyone about himself. So speaking of himself, here's a quote from Hunter Biden. Here's what he said about his new job.
As a new member of the board, I believe that my assistance in consulting the company will contribute to the economy and benefit the people of Ukraine.
Here he is, another Biden out there helping the good people of Ukraine by overthrowing their government, sticking puppets in place, starting wars with the people, and, just stealing all of their natural resources. Now, a word to the few Democrats that might be listening to me out there.
Listen to this.
For almost a decade, I listened to you people berating George W. Bush and Dick Cheney for invading Iraq to steal their oil. I'm not saying you're wrong. I was right there with you saying the same things. But your own party is no different. The Obama-Biden administration is doing the exact same things as the Bush administration. They're all crooks, puppets who are enriching themselves while doing the bidding of their puppeteers. If you people don't stand up against the leaders of your own party and brand them as the crooks that they are, then I say you are hypocrites, and you should be ashamed of yourselves for putting your political party above principles and people. And you Republicans out there, wake up. You might think that you're on the right track, and you are, with things like capitalism and free markets and liberty. But those things that you think your party represents, They're noble ideas, but that is not what the Republican Party represents. That is not what they actually believe. Look at their actions. Stop listening to what they say and start looking at what they do. I once thought the way you do, but my studies and paying attention to the issues and seeing what actually happens out there in the world as a result of their policies, it showed me something very different. There is no difference between the two major parties. There is just one party in America, the Republicrats. And they're controlled by corporations, which are controlled by central bankers, which are controlled by a global elite, who are controlled by Satan himself. This is the grand conspiracy, a secret combination of powers, where people scratch each other's backs in their quest for power, riches, and world domination. It's time to wake up. It's time to take that red pill that Morpheus offered Neo. If you want the truth, that's all I'm offering. If you don't want the truth, go ahead and take that blue pill, go back to sleep, and keep thinking that your saviors are Hillary Clinton or John McCain. Speaking of John McCain, do you see that smug neocon imp in the center of the photo, the one standing between the two Bidens, the little tyrant who thinks that...
All right, and I go off on a tangent about John McCain. But my point here is, does this sound familiar? People who don't know my history are under the impression that I'm just anti-Trump, and that's simply not true. I am anti-corruption. And it is strange that video was 5.5 years ago that I said that. And in that video, I was talking to the Democrats saying, how can you stand behind Joe Biden when you know he's corrupt? How can you make excuses for him? And I said, and Republicans, the time will come. Don't do the same thing. But here we are. Here we are. The Republicans of today are doing exactly the same thing that the Democrats were doing. They stand behind their guy, and they'll gladly point at the corruption of the other side, but they defend their guy no matter what. They will make excuse after excuse after excuse. It is frightening. It is despicable. It is so cowardly. And all of these Republicans, Lindsey Graham's out there, all of these people, they are not on our side. And by our side, I don't mean Republican or Democrat. I mean the people. We can quibble about domestic policies and stuff like that. You know, that's fair. But it really is the people against the powers that control the system. Corrupt, corrupt, corrupt. That is why I will probably be here 5 years from now, griping about the exact same thing, because it is the nature of people to not change. Society stays the same. Generation after generation, we make the same stupid mistakes all over again. We don't learn the lessons of history. We let the powers control us, manipulate us through, today the big thing is Twitter. Witch hunt, witch hunt, witch hunt. Read the transcript, read the transcript. The call was perfect, the call was perfect. Now go out like a bunch of NPCs and repeat this 1,000 times and win more acolytes. Go out there and spread that purple Kool-Aid. Get more people drunk on it. Because it turns us against each other. People are saying, oh, the impeachment is it's a distraction. I disagree. What are we doing now? You guys are sitting here with me. What have got? About 300 people on this backup channel of mine, sitting here talking about the true villains, the true bad guys, the bankers and the puppets, including the Joe Bidens and the Hunter Bidens, the Poroshenkos, the Lindsey Grahams and Donald Trumps. I feel like impeachment has given us a reason to talk about this. But anyway, that's just me. 5 years from now, It'll just be a totally different group yelling at me, telling me what a horrible person I am for not buying into whatever paradigm they believe in, not supporting their cult figure. Oh my gosh, what could we possibly get after Donald Trump? All right, listen, guys,